Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's another episode of Global Card Collectors. And today, John and I just wanted to have a catch up. And so we're going to talk about the last few episodes on the show, how that's kind of changed us as collectors and the changes we've been going through as collectors lately. I think both of us have talked off air about what that's been like. So, John, let's start with you. What have you taken from the show lately, in the sense of just in general? Have you learned anything from some of the guests, or thought differently about cards in any way?
It's just I think my first takeaway is it's been fun.
Yeah.
I've just enjoyed having these conversations with people and kind of just hearing their stories. It's interesting how differently people collect. Obviously, learning a lot about New Zealand and that
Hmm.
part of the world, and our couple weeks ago episode of the collector in China, Hadley was really good. I mean, connecting with people that I haven't connected with before, such as USMNT soccer cards. I got to follow the guy. I've been following him for years, and just to kind of like make the connection, have a conversation with them was just great. So I just feel more connected with the hobby. I think that's kind of the hobby, our hobby. I recently had a conversation with Nathaniel, and he's like, "It sounds kind of narcissistic. We call it the hobby. There are other
That's right.
hobbies, right?" So I'm trying to call it our hobby. So yeah, that's. I mean, it's just been fun, and people seem to like it, and hopefully just keep it going, enjoying it. How about
Yeah,
yourself?
I've been having a lot of fun too. I had a lot of different people that I knew about them, and I'd seen some of their posts online. But then when you get to talk to them in person, so I think the first interview I did was with Justin McCullough, the rugby card guy, and his wealth of knowledge on rugby cards is just, I mean, he is probably the guy. Not probably, he is the guy to know about rugby cards. He probably has held every single rugby card in the world, it seems, except for one until I saw him, and I'll show you that one later on. It's my favorite card in my collection, I think. But from Justin to another Justin, which will be on a podcast, I think last week's podcast was with Justin as well. So I've had a couple of Justins, had a couple of Steves and Hadley as well. It's been a lot of fun just interacting with these people. And I think my favorite thing of it all was just listening to the stories that they have about collecting. I liked Justin's from last week, his story about the old man at the card show. I thought that was amazing. And I really liked Justin from the rugby card guy about how hardcore he was in trying to get those Weetbix cards. So those
Yeah,
were two of my favorite moments, I think.
that one stuck out with me too. The wheat bix, just
Hmm.
that's hysterical. Digging, buying bunches of wheat bix and then reselling the sealed wheat bix, which everyone and people were like, yeah, sure, I'll take it, discount, whatever. And then of course, maybe our one of my favorites too, of course, was with Barrick. Just he
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
those two kind of episodes definitely got a lot of traction from people. They're just like, oh, we love Barrick. Just kind of his genuine. And I think the first Justin too was, it's just they're super like enthusiastic collectors. Really resonated
And
with
they are
other
real
me.
curators. Like they just want to collect cards and document them and hold on to them and admire them. They're really special. I
Yeah,
completely agree.
yeah. So what have you why don't you? I mean, I think that Justin interview was formative for you. You've been in New Zealand now, what, 3 months? Kind of
A
getting
bit longer than
settled.
that, actually.
Okay.
I've been in New Zealand since October last year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been that long. It's been that
Time
long.
flies.
But
Yeah.
I didn't interview Justin until towards the very end of 2023. So it's been a little bit of time between that interview and now, and I've been collecting a whole bunch of different cards. Shall I show you a couple? I've got quite a few to show, but I'll try not to. take up too much time. If I keep going too long, you just tell me.
Yeah, hit
So
no.
you probably haven't seen this one, but I
No.
found this one on sale in Facebook. It's a Tim Hardaway card from Spectra 2023, and it's an auto number to 49. I know that Back ripped the Tim Hardaway auto card, and when I saw it, I was like, man, I really got to get myself one of those. I love Tim Hardaway as a player. When I was watching basketball in the '90s, he was just this tiny little player, pre Allen Iverson, with just that killer crossover, and obviously him in a Dallas Mavericks uniform, and his son plays for the Mavs. It's pretty cool. So I picked this one up for only a few bucks. I was pretty happy with that.
Very
That
cool.
was that's yeah
Run TMC, right? We got
that's right.
that was part of Baron Davis and Mitch Richmond, if I'm not mistaken.
So the second one, obviously speaking about Mitch Richmond, your guy from Sacramento. I think you've seen this one, but I won this one in a break, and I've taken your advice on, and I've dialed back on entering in 1,000 breaks a week, and it's barely one a week anymore. It's probably once a month. So just trying to pick and choose good breaks rather than just getting in on kind of junky cards. So this is the one, and it's a Jason Williams
Oh,
autograph card. Yeah, I thought you'd like that one from Chronicles, 2023, and that's number to 25. And I think this is the lava card. That's why you can see it's like in the light. It's got this weird shimmer to it, but it's very cool.
yeah, I see that. That pops. I like it.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
yeah, and it's in the King's uniform for you too, man. So
Oh, it's got to be.
definitely
Got to
happy
be in
with
the
that one.
Kings. Yeah.
Only right, yeah. So that was another one I wanted to show off. This one I don't think you've seen either, but I always wanted one since the refractor version of this card goes for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I can't afford that much, obviously. So I get the base version. So I have a flare metal Jordan, and it's in front of the Chicago skyline. And again, these sorts of things are very readily available in New Zealand. You just have to kind of be in the right Facebook groups, and that one comes up. So that's one of those 98 Skybox ones.
So
So
you're
that's
picking
a
these up
really
on Facebook groups, huh?
I'm picking them all up either on Facebook groups, which run the breaks most of the time, or this one here was like a Facebook group for sale. So this is the from Skybox 98. It's the Flare Medal Jordan. There's obviously the other medals that has PMGs, and this is the year after. But still a
That's
very
cool.
cool card. And
That's
I
cool.
have the base version of the other PMG as well. I think in a PSA 8. That one's still in Turkey though. And the last one on these again, these Facebook groups, I think it's called NBA Cards New Zealand. I jumped in on a Raz from a guy who I'd bought a few low end cards from, and I think he just wanted to kind of finish off the Raz. So I jumped in on a mini on the Raz, and I ended up winning it. And it's a Damian Lillard from Mosaic 2022, and that gold and the outside means that it's a one of one. So I got a
Wow.
one of one on a Raz, yeah.
Wow.
So this is my
That's
best. This
cool.
is my best Lillard card by far. So these are my latest NBA pickups that I wanted to kind of show off, and it's just nice to be in New Zealand in a place where it's easy to access cards. So if I want to get a box of 2024 cards, I could go online and buy them, and they'll be in my house by the end of the week. And that just doesn't happen in Turkey, you know. If I want to buy low end cards, I could jump onto a Facebook group now and buy a whole bunch of low end stuff. But I've noticed as a collector that I've already started to kind of pull away a little bit from the low end cards, and I'm just looking more for cards that I want. So I'm looking for players that I PC. I'm looking for numbered cards, and I'm looking for, I'd say, that are just a little bit more valuable. So probably staying away from the numbered cards from Donruss and going more for the numbered cards from the higher end sets. I think they hold a little bit more long term value. At least that's a change that I've probably consciously and subconsciously made recently. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I think that's, we kind of a natural evolution as the
that's right.
longer we go. And yeah, even yeah, it's just I don't know what I'm trying to say, but just the numbered thing I do think about from time to time. I mean, it's there are so many, even though they're numbers, doesn't make them necessarily rare still even. So
I'm starting to think along those lines too, which is why I think looking at other types of cards besides NBA, the numbers actually mean a lot more because there are only X amount of numbered cards and the rest are just base. It's not as if
right.
you have 60 plus parallels of a color like in Prism this year. Instead, with rugby cards, you might have two or three sets that are numbered, or old cricket cards where you have, 5 or 6 numbered cards. And even though they're numbered to 1,000, when you consider all of these other NBA cards, the numbering doesn't seem nearly as bad.
Yeah. Cool. So I mean, what non-basketball have you been
Oh, I've been waiting to
printing?
get onto that one actually. I've got a
Yeah,
whole bunch
that
more non-basketball cards.
yeah, I
so
want to hear about some
because
of your yeah.
so because basketball cards are a bit expensive, I have ventured out more into cricket and rugby cards and are basically hoovering up whatever I can find. So I got a whole bunch of sealed wax. So I have these. It's a box of what they call Caltex cards. Do you know Caltex?
Never heard of it.
It's like Total for New Zealand.
Oh,
So
of
it's a
course.
petroleum company.
Yeah, of course. No, no, of course I know that. Yeah, yeah. Former Standard Oil
so
Company of California. Yeah.
that's right. So they were selling these, and as you can see, in 2016, 2017. And if you bought like $20 worth of petrol, you'd get a packet of these cards. I ended up finding a seller online, and I think I've got I've got 6 sealed boxes of these, and I haven't seen any of them come up since. They don't have anything ultra rare in them. What they do have is a card of this guy here, and I haven't opened any. I've been very disciplined, but this guy here in the middle, he's
Good
probably New
boy.
Zealand's
Nice
greatest cricketer
work.
of all time. His name is Kane Williamson. He's still currently with the team. So if I end up going to any New Zealand cricket team games while I'm here and he happens to be there, I'm going to rip one of these, find a Kane Williamson card, and get him to sign it. That's my plan. But at the moment, they're staying in the box, and I'm disciplined enough that I'm not opening them. So there's my sealed wax for cricket. And in terms of individual cards, you'll recognize these two. These are
Oh yeah.
from
Oh yeah.
Yeah, these are from '96. These are the Tendulkar rookie cards from Futera. The thing that I really am fascinated about by these cards is that they've been graded by PSA and none have come back a PSA 10 because if you look closely at that card, the centering is always off. So this one, it's always a little bit high or it's a little bit left to right kind of thing. This one here, you can see the centering is way off on there on the bottom there.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably guess these would get a PSA 8 if I were to send them in for grading. But yeah, I've got 2 Tendulkar rookie cards at the moment, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty happy about that. And this card I did encourage you to get, but this is my copy. It's from Futera again. It's 95 bat to ball, and it's numbered to 4,500. And it's 2 of the most iconic cricketers of all time. So there's Brian Lara, who I think is basically, if not the equal to Tendulkar, then probably better, or Shane Warne. But I think, to be honest, if you were to look at these two, it's basically just pick your poison. It's the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan debate. It's like, which player style did you like? I really appreciate the way that Tendulkar plays. I love him off the field, but Lara was just so charismatic in the way that he played and so up and down, whereas Tendulkar was so consistently good. But when Lara was on, he was impossible to get out. And so I really like this one because you have Lara on the front, and then you've probably got the Dennis Rodman of cricket. I don't know who else to compare him to, but he had all these massive off-field antics. But he was a wonderful cricket player, and just I think his he had this really weird quote, a little bit like George Best. It wasn't weird; it was a great quote. He said, "Yeah, I drank a little beer, I smoked a little, I hung around with a few women, and I bowled a couple of balls in cricket. That was his life. That's how he summed up his life. It was like amazing, and he was that kind of guy. So Warney is absolutely one of my favorite cricketers.
Right on.
Let me. I do
Yeah,
have. Yeah, I do.
I came across I kind of for late '90s, it's tough for me to. I mean, I'm trying to get into the cards, and I just know they're cool basketball cards. And I,
Yeah.
Mitch Richmond didn't fully do it for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I've been kind of trying to buy Sabonis more, just
Nice.
occasional card here and there. The father, and there I came across a card, Bowman's Best, that has Rodman on the front and Sabonis on the back. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. I mean,
Oh,
it's
nice.
the
That's a
only
really
listing is
interesting mix.
yeah, right. Anyway, that card reminds me of it. And of course, you encouraged me on getting one of these Lara and
Better
Warren
ball cards,
cards.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really
PSA
like it.
9. Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited about it.
Yeah, and when I went onto the cricket Facebook group and kind of talked to them about the card, the responses were massive. They love it. They're like, "Oh, this is one of the best cards. It's got two iconic cricketers. It's numbered." They said all the things that I said about it. It's a really cool card to check out. This is Shane Warne's rookie card, so I picked this one
Hmm.
up as well. Really good looking card actually because the ball's in the air, his arms kind of going over his rotations, and it's just got a nice like he's still balanced at the same time, but you just wonder what's going to happen next with the ball. So I kind of like that one. I don't know if that'll grade past the 9 because the centering's way off, left to right, but still, it was a nice little pickup for me. And I
Where
have
uh,
two
where
more.
where are you thinking about grading?
I have a feeling that most of these ones, if they're not autos, I'm going with SGC, man. I'm totally going to go with SGC. But with the autos, because it's the only place that authenticates them, I'm going to have to go to PSA. So that's just the way it goes with those. But that's okay. And speaking of cards that need to get authenticated, this is one here. So this is a Shane Warne autograph card that I picked up
That's
from
cool.
down here in New Zealand. Yeah, I really like the auto. So this is an in-person order that I picked up from a guy who basically has been to all sorts of cricket games, and he's got a whole bunch of different signatures. And when you compare it to an authenticated signature like this card here, you know that it's legit. So this one here is just a base card from '95. It's not a rookie card of his, but it's still a pretty iconic shot of his. And that's just Shane Warne signing that in person. And it's probably going to be easier to get Shane Warne's autograph in a place like New Zealand because, it's just really easy for fans to get up and get close to players. And then they're going to
Right.
sign things for them. So
I
there's a Warne in
I
person
also
order.
like with that card I feel like the Australian yellow is iconic. So that's just very
That's right.
recognizable. So I like
Yeah,
them in
yeah,
that
totally.
uniform.
Yeah, so you know that he's playing in a one-day game here. That's a short version of cricket. If a full day means short, because
So
this is him in the
uh,
Test uniform, which is 4 days in a game.
what
Oh,
why
5 days,
yellow for
sorry.
short and why white for
I
long?
think they were trying to make it a little bit more modern and a little bit more fun and a little bit more iconic. So the New Zealand cricket team would wear the black colors for the short version of cricket, whereas the longer version of cricket, everybody wears their cricket whites. So they're all playing in both their teams are playing in white uniforms, but they might like
Just
have a different trim or a different cut or a different logo on the shirt because you're not really going to be going past each other like in basketball or in football and that kind of thing. So everybody wore white uniforms in cricket like that.
it's just kind of hot and long games out in the sun.
That's right.
White
That's
is your
right.
color, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, in the middle of summer. That absolutely is the reason why I think. So this is a Shane Warne authenticated autograph card that I have here, also from Futera. It's from '94, and it's numbered to 1,000. So this one goes for a good chunk of change too. So I think I picked this up at the right time, and after I bought it, when I look on the comps online, the price has definitely jumped up on that one. So that's my other Shane Warne
that's
autograph
cool.
card.
I
So
kind of want to just shout out Futera because you showed me like I think the
yeah,
majority of the cards you showed me were Futera,
yeah,
um, and at least in those sports, not the basketball ones, but I just really like their cards. Like their designs are
me
nice
too.
and
Me too.
solid. So
Even the new ones, it's not overdone, and the print quality is always really good. So yeah,
hmm
I'm a big fan of the Futera cards too. What's interesting about the cricket card market right now is that Topps has kind of tested the water, and what they did was they must have gotten the licensing from a whole bunch of ex cricket players, like former players who played 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and so they released a series called the Legends series. They released it on their website in the UK. They released it on their website in India and elsewhere, and it sold out within hours. So it shows you where the cricket card market is going. It's just on its way up now, and I think as this guy
No
called London
financial
Card
advice.
Collector often says, yeah, that's right. No financial advice at all, but that guy London Card Collector, who I listen to a lot of, he has mentioned that cricket is one of the last sports to really kind of have a boom. Whether it has one or not, I mean, it remains to be seen. But all the signs are there for it to be one of those places where collectors are looking for the next best thing. And so, I feel like I've gotten in a little bit earlier than most, which is great. So, if they pop or not, I don't really care because to get a Shane Warne autograph, it's what I've wanted since I was a kid, and I didn't even know that it was available. So being able to kind of get this from somebody online has been pretty special. So I'm still happy about that.
That's awesome. I mean, that's the dream right there, right? To get
Yeah, I
something
agree.
you
I
wanted that
agree.
gives you nostalgia from childhood, and
I agree.
you know, maybe it'll appreciate in value too.
So if I move on to rugby, speaking of sealed wax, I have about 8 of these. So this is a New Zealand rugby set. So I bought 8 boxes of these. They're from a company called Tap and Go, which has since gone bust. Pretty much every company that tries to produce rugby or cricket cards, it seems, goes bust, and it's for a variety of reasons. But I think sometimes they just kind of they don't understand what the market wants. So I'm hoping that with Tops testing the water with the cricket cards, that'll be the next step into staying in the market and doing it properly too. So these are actually a really fun set, and they've got like the rookie card of probably the most well-known female rugby player in the world, Ruby Tui. So her rookie card's in here. Plus, one in every 90 packs will have an autograph card. I've opened up one when I first got them, and I got this order, which is of one of my favorite rugby players, Aaron Smith, who has since retired from international rugby. But this is number to 200, and it was the first pack that I opened in the first box that I opened. And I say first because I couldn't help myself, and I opened up a second box. And again, the very first pack that I opened, I pulled this guy's order. So he's another wonderful rugby player from New Zealand, from the early 2000s. Again, the same set, so it's numbered to 200 as well. And he was so much fun to watch. He was just super smooth with the ball, and when he was running, it just looked so effortless. And so his name is Israel Dag, and so both of these cards are on card autos, numbered to 200. And for the price of the box, this probably pays for about 4 boxes. So if it pays for 4 boxes, and you're going to get 30 packs in a box, you could buy 4 boxes and you're going to have a box for free, and you'll have a whole bunch more cards. So I'm still probably not going to sell them, but these are my I guess my scores from those 2 boxes that I opened. But I'm doing my
That
best to be disciplined.
yeah, that's cool that you got some wax to sit on. I feel like that's just kind of a fun thing to have.
Oh,
And I don't,
here we
but
go.
I know people enjoy
I've
it.
got a few more.
Um,
I'll try and be quick, but I've got a couple more. You might recognize these. These are the Weetbix cards. These are the ones that Justin opened thousands of boxes of Weetbix to look for. So this is the Richie McCaw Gold Card. These are numbered to 5,000. But when you think about the amount of people that would eat the Weetbix and wouldn't even look for the cards, the amount of cards that must be out there in the wild, Justin was telling me that it's probably in the hundreds at best. So there's probably less than 200 of these cards around. And this guy is easily the greatest rugby player of all time, in my opinion. He's
wow.
the
Okay.
best. Yeah, I think he's better than Lomu. Like, no, I don't think he is better than Lomu. He's the guy. So
Right.
he's the best rugby player, and that's the only one of his I could find because this was from 2 years ago. Whereas in
When
2023 they bought it.
when were his playing days?
So he captained the All Blacks for 3 different World Cups, and if you think about the World Cup, they happen every 4 years. So he was a very young captain in the first one, and they didn't do very well. They probably they did get knocked out at the earliest stage in All Blacks rugby history. So he stayed on, and the coach of the team stayed on too. The New Zealand public were just winding them up, and they weren't really happy about them. But he was easily our best player at that team, and he was the best player at the next World Cup too. So in 2011, he captained the team again, and they won. And so he was seen as a national hero. and he was still good enough to play at the World Cups. So he lasted another 4 years. Now you got to imagine the toll that takes on your body, playing literally hundreds of rugby games. And his very last game of competitive rugby, he was in the World Cup final, and he kind of just had a throwback game where he just put his body completely on the line and was incredible. He was playing against probably the form number 6 in the world in the Australian team, and he just wiped the floor with them. Man, he was so good, and so we love this guy in New Zealand. So he's our hero. He's our ultimate sportsman. There's no one that really comes close to Richie. We call him King Richie. He can't do anything wrong. When they had the earthquakes down in Christchurch, and Christchurch was where he was based as a rugby player, he got into a helicopter and basically rescued people from danger zones. He's a superman. Like now that he's finished playing rugby, he does these ultra Ironmans where he will basically just run over mountains and rocks and go through rivers and that sort of thing for 3 days in a row without sleep. He's just a machine, and so he's our ultimate New Zealander. I think if he went for prime minister in the country, he'd win by a landslide. But he's
What
amazing. He's no nonsense. He's got no ego to him. So yeah,
could
my
he
dream down the line is to meet him in person and get him to sign one of my cards. I
could
actually
he
met him
could he
years
include
ago.
Steven Adams in his cabinet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, put out Stephen there. Stephen Adams could be the Minister of Fisheries. You go
Perfect.
and do some fishing with Steve. Yes, so I actually met this guy one time. I remember I was out on town on the town with my girlfriend at the time, and I was in the middle of the night, and I'd taken out to her dinner, and so I was feeling pretty good with myself. I was going to the gym at the time, and I was super fit. Walking down the street, and I just see this guy, this shadow, and he's just this massive dude just walking down the street. I was like, who is this show off like this? And I was like, oh, it's Richie. Richie, how you doing, buddy? Shook his head, and he's just this big physical specimen of a man who just his motor just didn't stop. He was amazing. So yeah, definitely happy with this one. This is my best Richie card by far. I have some others of his, but this is my best one with the limited numbers and that kind of thing. And probably the second best All Black of all time is this guy who played on almost all the same teams as Richie. His name is Dan Carter. And Justin and I talked about this Dan Carter gold card on our rugby card episode. So um, he said he picked one up. I picked up two, and I picked up three. So I have three Dan Carter gold cards. And right now,
Hoarder.
on
You're
all
a
of the
hoarder.
yeah, exactly. So all of the platforms that I've been looking on, obviously because I keep buying them up, and others do too. I haven't seen any on there for ages, for probably a month. So I think I've definitely contributed to those cards disappearing from the market. And the last few cards I want to show you are, of course, of the guy that I'm collecting the most of, who I talked about, I think, in episode 2. And it's Jonah. So we did talk about this rookie card before. So there's one, there's two, there's three, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm always on the hunt for Lomu rookie cards. I got 6 of them. I don't think many of them will grade too well. I think the one that will grade the best is the one in the Ultra Pro sleeve. So 6 Lomu rookies at the moment. And this one I haven't seen elsewhere. It's probably around, but it's a Lomu promo card. So this is a promotional card from that company Card Crazy in 1996. And on the back, it's just like, this is how many cards will come in a box. This is how many cards you'll get in a pack. So it's a complete promo card, but it's of Jonah. And I've never seen it anywhere else. So I think that one's going to be quite rare, and I've got no clue how much it is worth. But until I see 1,000 of these, I ain't letting this one go anytime soon. So that's a nice little promo card that I picked up. And I got
You've
2 more to
never.
show you.
All right, I
Yeah,
got to
go.
jump in here though. I mean, so you've never seen one on for sale elsewhere, or
I haven't seen one for sale uh, before or since. So I
okay?
picked this one up. I picked this one up off a guy online. It was it was just like it had a buy now price, and before I even had a chance to negotiate, I was like, I ain't wasting my time. Buy it now. It was a decent price. I thought it was fair, so I just hit the buy now button, and and I got it. So I'm pretty happy with that.
We've all been there. I before you advance too, I had a question about the that Topps Legends
Yeah,
set.
yeah, sure.
Where was it distributed? And like, yeah,
Is in India and the UK. So Tops have an Indian website and a UK website as well, and so they offered it to them over in those two countries, from what I've been told. But it was really hard to get a hold of them. I've seen one person online try to sell a few of them, and there are obviously going to be autos of legend players who you're not too keen on, but there's a lot of really really good former cricket players with autos.
how
So
how represented were Indians in the set?
good question. I'm gonna have to look at the checklist. I only saw a post on Instagram lately, and the guy had about 15 or 20 of them. I think he must have bought one or two boxes. And yeah, and the cards that he had on there were from a range of different countries. There were South Africans, West Indians, English players, and I'm not 100% sure if they're Sri Lankans or Indians. So
Okay.
probably I'll have to look at the checklist and get back to you. But I'm hoping that Tops continue to do this and bring out some card sets, because that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm just curious
Yeah,
how
getting
the,
some.
I'm always kind of
Mhm.
curious about the Indian market. I mean, China is the, um, next to the US is just like the beast in soccer and basketball.
Yeah,
So, India could be that kind of the China of rugby cards. You could easily see that happening, right? I don't
yeah, I
know
like
who.
it. I like that
So
idea.
anyway, curious how the market develops. But anyway,
All right, these are my two biggest Lomu cards. I talked about wanting to get one of these on episode 2. I said like the card that I'd want to get is this one, and it's Jonah Lomu's rookie card, and it's autographed. So this is Jonah's auto, and you can see it from the side there. It's totally his. When you know someone's autograph and you know when it's authentic, it's like the Jordan rookie autos. Jordan auto cards. I could tell Michael Jordan's autograph from a mile away, and it's the same with Jonas, and it's the same with Shane Warren's. I've seen them so many times. You know when one is legit and not, and there's no reason why this one wouldn't be legit. Like the seller that I bought it from has a massive collection of rugby cards, and he basically went out of his way when Jonah was alive to make sure that he got this signed. Uh, but he wanted to part ways with it, and I was more than happy to pick it up. So I'm very happy about that one. So that's the Jonah
congrats.
order that I've been. Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
I know you've been
it's
looking for that
one
for a
of my
while.
Grail cards. I've been looking for this one for years. So getting my hands on it, I ain't letting that one go anytime soon. That's for sure. But there's actually a bigger card than this, and I couldn't believe it until it came up. So this card I had kind of learned about from people like Justin, and it came up in all of the forums. It's this card here, and before I show it to you, I'll tell you a little bit of the background of it. So these cards, there were only 50 cards made of these. It was, if you won the card, you got like a congratulations. You need to send in this card to Card Crazy, and we'll send you back the Jonah card. So it's this card here, and there's only 50 of them in the actual set. This card here in particular is a sample version of it. It was owned by a guy who used to work at a Card Crazy store in New Zealand. So when they went belly up, one of the things that he wanted to take was this card. And so they basically gave it to him on his way out. So when it came up for auction, there were a whole bunch of people watching for it. I was looking at that website every single day, just checking it out. How much is it going to go for? How much is it going to go for? And of course, it didn't kick off until the last 15 minutes. And of course, the auction actual time ran out, so they had to go overtime with me bidding against two other people. And if you heard Justin's episode, this card went up against two massive hitters in the rugby card collection community. I don't think I'm going to be spending that kind of money again on the card anytime soon. But when it's your white whale, you kind of have to throw caution to the wind a little bit. And I haven't regretted the purchase since. I've had people offer me more money for it, but I ain't parting with it anytime soon. That's for sure. So this is the jewel in my crown in my collection. It's a Jonah Lomu gold card, numbered to 50, but this is a sample version of it. And these cards just do not come up for sale. So I'm really happy with it. You can see you got the gold insignia at the top of the card there, and it shines in the light like a beacon out into the darkness. Man, it's beautiful. So I'm very happy with it. Yeah.
No, that card is objectively beautiful. I really like the colors, just kind of like the scarlet and gold, and it's cool. It's really cool. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, you've obviously shared this with me before, but just in pictures. But it's awesome. Yeah, what are you gonna do now, man? You got your grail? What
I
you know?
don't, yeah, it's a good question. There is actually out of those Weetbix cards. So this is the next one, which is probably just as rare as this card. And these Weetbix cards, so these are numbered to 5,000. The year before Richie, there was a Jonah Lomu Weetbix card, and that's numbered to 500. And they think there's probably only 6 or 5 that have survived. So that is ultra rare again. So there's always something to shoot for, man. That's the thing with cards. There's always one other card that you need to get, which is frustrating but exciting at the same time because you're always chasing, man. And as
I
you know,
mean
the
that
thrill of the chase is one of the best things about being a collector.
No doubt, and that kind of, I mean, that probably demands like going to every garage sale or yard sale. I don't know
That's
what you
right.
call them there.
That's
Kind
right.
of, it's just gonna pop up magically somewhere. But
Yeah.
cool.
Well, it's not well. It's not from the lack of searching. I'm going to be around and about. I'm looking online, but then at the same time, every now and then I'll look on. I have I have garage sale Facebook groups on my page, so I'm looking through and seeing the photos, looking for cards, and they have these I don't know what you call them in America, but churches will have these little stores too where people donate things. Goodwill,
Yeah,
I guess you guys call them. So
thrift
we have
stores,
we have
or
thrift
yeah,
stores. So
yeah.
yeah, we call them op shops, meaning opportunity shops. So
Okay.
I often go and visit those, and you can find some other cool stuff there. But I'm always looking around the place for if they have any folders of cards or just some loose cards lying around. Haven't been successful yet, but I'm not going to stop looking. So it's another one of my things I'm looking at as well.
I love it, man. That's awesome.
How about yourself, mate? Tell us what you've been up to because you have shown me a couple of cards on our little WhatsApp chats, but I'd like you to talk about them a little bit, man, because there are a couple of the cards that you've picked up. I'm just like, what is that? And I think they're stickers rather than cards. So, do you want to kind of lean into what you've been doing lately with your collecting?
Yeah, so in the the Modric episode, I have bought another. I bought a Modric card. I still do. But I'm kind of problem with that was that I was just buying so much. I was buying everything Modric, kind of, not everything, but
Hmm.
and so I've just kind of looked at it and been like, okay, I can part with some of this, and so I've been selling some of my 2014 prisms. I was going for a rainbow there, but that's just never going to happen anyway. Like the
No,
gold I've never seen, and yeah, the whole rainbow concept to me is kind of, I'm kind of no longer into it. And again, these kind of evolutions. So and I think just I think it's kind of too. I have been buying some Shengun, but that's a few months ago. Um, that, but kind of two main things have been kind of motivating me. One is finding rare stickers, or and just kind of low pop stuff in soccer. So yeah, and then I'll get into the other one after that. But so on that note, I'd say two things. Like, there's one card. I don't have any of them here. They're either in the States, or I can show you. I can show you the picture of this one.
yeah, do
This is
that, do that.
my addition to my Modric collection, in the sense that this guy Boban, people know him as Boban, was the captain of the Croatian team that won that got third in the 1998 World Cup. Modric refers to him and Francesco Totti as kind of his two, idols growing up in football. And again, this guy is wearing he's in a Dinamo Zagreb kit, so he kind of started his career there. So it kind of parallels the Modric rookie stickers that I have. So I picked that one up off again, this kind of whale of a collector in the soccer card community. Just again, these kinds of discoveries, I go digging about the history and kind of who, so and I discover these people. And Boban actually has this, I mean, if you Google like Boban match, Balkan War, you'll find that there was this fight at the stadium, and he like kicked a supporter, obviously like Serbs and Croats, and kind of like that was kind of like the match that kind of lit the fire there. So it's kind of like there's got historic value in this guy, and it was this year of the sticker that happened. So I just kind of digged around, looked on eBay, saw the listing, and had like 25 watchers. I don't know how long it had been up, but I just reached out to the guy privately, and we got a deal done offline.
That's great.
So
You know what it
that was
reminds me of in your collection, man? It does remind me of those two Modric cards that you shared with us in the Luka Modric episode. They're they're very rare. There's that connection to they're going to be a different kind of rare because they've been lost, or there's not many collectors there because of conflict or all sorts of other things. Apparently, there's this Jordan card that comes from that part of the world that's super rare and super expensive as well. But I love that you've done your research on the background of Boban, and you've got that card, and it looks really cool, man. I like the uniform, and he looks it's got that almost cigarette card feel to it. You know what I mean? Like it's an old school feel to it, man. It's very cool, really cool.
right on, right on. Yeah, it's like a pop 3, I think, total graded,
Yeah, of
maybe
course it is.
4. I'll get this re-slabbed in a SGC modern one.
Nice.
So yeah, that and this sticker I posted about it. It also led to this guy, a sticker hunter on IG. He and I became friends. He's from Croatia, and we've just been like we've had some good chats about that. So again, a fun part about cards is when I mistakenly typed that it was a rookie. Because it had been listed as a rookie, and he's like, "No, that's actually not a rookie." Like, so I like take down the post, and like he tells me all about it, and then I'm like, "All right." Anyway, so good information. I mean, I'm learning, of course.
So
So
does
yeah,
that mean
pretty
you're
psyched.
chasing the rookie card now?
Um, yeah, it's tough because like that guy operates in like Serbian groups and Croatian
Yeah,
groups, and he's. I mean, I really enjoy his posts because he's got these similar kind of rare things that haven't survived, and there aren't like pop counts of them really. Um, so yeah, I doubt I'm gonna get it, and I'll
yeah.
have to, for me to get it, it has to be at a higher
Go
price.
through
Like it has
him.
to kind of, I'm the end
Gotcha.
seller that they want to get eventually.
I
Um,
understand.
I'm just a dumb American like who's just fascinated by it all. So happy to play that role. I really
Yeah, good
enjoy
for
it.
you, man. Yeah,
So.
yeah. That's the thing. Someone's got to be dumb enough to pay for it, and I guess you're the dummy this time.
Yeah, he was like, "What'd you pay for the Boban?" I'm like, "X," and he's like, yeah." I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's just the price I'm gonna pay because I can't unearth those things." So, um, anyway, along these lines, I don't have pictures, but I'm into the U.S. men's national soccer team, and Claudio Reyna's my favorite player, and there are I
Yes.
think there's one graded from 2002, his sticker, just Panini sticker. Um, and so I bought one on ComC, and I'm getting it graded with PSA. Again, it's just not that many graded copies. I don't know. That's the year 2002 is when the U.S. had its best finish. Reyna was all tournament, the only American to ever do so. And now his son, of course, he's been playing well this last weekend. We beat Mexico. He had a goal. He had a couple assists in the semi. So
Great.
it's fun to keep that alive a bit that way with his son. And then we had a goalkeeper in 1994 named Tony Miola, um, and that year Upper Deck did World Cup cards.
Yes, I
So
remember those. I've seen a few of those.
right, I mean those are everywhere, and
Yeah.
but there is a sticker set, and I'm blanking on the country of origin of it. I think France. Uh, it's just a very, it's just like kind of your classic sticker, the guy's like head portrait, and that's a Pop Zero, and I just found it again on ComC, uh, just bought it and getting it graded now, so we'll, just so it's encapsulated, and
Cool. Cool.
it's really cool looking. I'll show it to you when I get them back. So yeah, those kinds of things, and I guess again along those lines, I think the ones you're referring to are these 1986, talking about these Jordan cards.
Yeah.
1986 Spanish set called Merchant. It was
Ah,
also Converse was involved in promoting it. Its name was on there, and I think people know obviously interested in kind of international players, especially from Eastern Europe and the Balkans, and they're just cool cards. They have like so I got the Petrovic, here's the Drazen,
yeah.
and then here's the Sabonis.
It's
And
a
they
bonus picture is amazing with the
right, you
Russian
got
flag
the
behind him. So cool,
CCCP,
dude.
right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, real
Uh,
cool.
so they got flags. I love flags. These
And
things are
yeah,
just
absolutely. Yeah, you like the flag cards, like from your set that you're still trying to get. Was it the international? Not Men of Mystery, was it? No, it wasn't the one with the flags.
yeah, sorry, it cut out. It cut out a little bit there. The yeah, it's 2019 International Meta Mastery set. Which
Men of
I picked up
Mastery, not Mystery.
the Luca finally, which had eluded me for about 2 years, and I'm still 3 cards away in that one. So those things kind
That's
of
right.
keep me.
You need a Turkoglu from that set too, right?
Yeah, I need Hado, Hidayet, and Hakeem, and then Ben Simmons, which is a terrible inclusion, but yeah. Uh,
Yeah, mastery of what right now, hey?
yeah, master, you're getting paid for doing nothing. Yeah, so these things are also very rare. The
Yeah,
pop counts are
absolutely. And they
less
look
than
cool,
10, or
man. They look cool.
I think there are one other at SGC. That's where I can't say it. I just got them, but I sent everything off to SGC yesterday. So
Yeah, good
just to
one.
get
Good
them
one. And
graded.
they're gonna look great in the tux, man. I love the SGC slab.
Agreed. Uh, and then I think, yeah, that kind of sums up that push. So I just, I'm always, I
Mhm.
kind of like the rare stuff that no one else cares about, but for me it's meaningful. And yeah, I'm happy to have Petrovic and Sabonis paired, because they played in the 1998 Olympic final.
Mhm.
And I think they're probably, obviously before now, two of the greatest international players ever.
Oh,
Now we have
without
Luke.
doubt. Without
Yeah.
doubt. Yeah. I
So
think
those
both
are
of them, it would have been great to see them play more NBA basketball. Obviously, Petrovic was just starting to come into his own in New Jersey. And then obviously we were it was stolen from us those years of him, man, because it sounded like he was the most difficult player to guard. I remember Reggie Miller talking about him, and it's just like he would do everything just to get under your skin, and he was just impossible to guard because he was quick. He knew how to cheat well, and at the same time, he had really bad body odor. So he wanted you to. And then I think he didn't shower on purpose just so that he could wind him up and go, "Here you go, mate, like this." And so that was him. And then obviously Sabonis, he came to America when he was well past his prime, but he still had these great skills. But if he had come 5 years earlier, imagine if he come 8 or 9 years earlier, man, he would have just been the old version of Joker, and so the NBA would have changed all the way back then, So I think we were a little bit deprived of both of the best of theirs as NBA fans. But you can watch highlights of them in Europe. It would have just been great to see them do the same thing against NBA players.
agreed. Agreed. Yeah, that kind of late '80s, early '90s era was interesting that way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so the other component of my collecting is I've been looking at water polo. I played in high school and college, and it's kind of what initially got me interested in Balkans and kind of Eastern Europe. Those teams dominate, like Hungary, Italy, Spain, Greece, Bosnia, Serbia, Croatia, on and on. So US is also there, but they're kind of like top 8, I'd say. Um, so no one is collecting water polo. So
You're the
you
first
know,
one in.
no one. I really don't think anyone is because like I picked up. So this guy, Tony Azevedo, I actually did not play against him. I could have in high school. He was in Southern California. And you go on lists, and some people say he's the greatest of all time. I have a little difficulty accepting that just because he did lead us to a silver medal in '08, which was our best finish outside of the '84 Olympics, which were in Los Angeles. So, but he's cool. He's a California guy. He's part Brazilian, and he reminds me of my childhood growing up. So these Goodwin, this one's a Goodwin Champion Mini, presidential Mini they call
Nice.
it, one of one. So
Are they the ones where you kind of rip the inside of an old? Is it on the inside of a bigger card? Have you seen
no,
those? Is that the mini that we're
I'm
talking
not
about?
familiar with those. No,
So there's certain cards that inside a larger card you can rip it open and you might get a better card, or it could be a rubbish one.
huh?
And I want to say they're good one as well, but I might be wrong. There might be some random kind of gaudy follow on or something like that. But I've definitely seen people do that. I think even Pac-Man's opened a couple of those where you rip the inside and you get a mini version of a card, and it might be a rookie card. I think they were doing that with even Shohei Ohtani, so which is probably not the best name to mention right now, but
Yeah, the so one of these was sitting out there for a long time. I think, I don't know, I just found it on eBay when I started looking around. Bought it. And there are actually three cards of his in this 200 card set. I mean, it's a multi-sport set. um
Yep.
and so then another one popped up about a month later, minimum auction, about at the price where I had bought the first one. Got that. No one else bid on it. And then once again, same thing happened. So I have all three one of ones from this set of Tony Azevedo. So those are also going off to SGC just to encapsulate. So that's been fun.
You got all
Um,
three? I didn't know
yeah,
you
I got
got
all
all
three.
three.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty tough to do for every other kind of card. But I guess people are like, I don't care like water polo. This guy seems to like it. Let's sell it to him. You
Yeah. No,
definitely
no.
lucked out on that one.
That's why I really think I'm the only one at this point, and probably for good reason. I mean, they're not going to be worth anything, but it's just fun. And then the other guy I've been looking at, and this guy, so he's Hungarian, actually Jewish, from the '50s. I mean, he started playing in the late '40s into the early '60s. To me, he has kind of the more iconic title of, I mean, I call him the Pele of water polo, just because he
Nice.
was so early. I actually wrote a paper in college about it, where in 1956 the Olympics were being held in Melbourne, actually, and they this was right at the time when the Soviets went into Hungary and cracked down on dissidents. So there was this month long kind of crackdown, Soviet tanks, that kind of stuff rolling in there. And at that time, the Hungarians were playing in the Olympics, and they met up with the Soviets in the semifinals. There's even
Wow.
a movie. There's even a movie about it. They call it like the bloodiest match ever. I mean, guys were just, water polo. It's pretty can be pretty tough that way. You
Physical
really kind
anyway.
of,
Yeah.
I mean, you have no protection. I mean, if people want to clock you or something, they can. And I can imagine in the '50s, there was a lot of stuff going on. So
Wow.
Hungary won, and then won the gold medal. This guy was the clear, captain leader. He's their all-time scoring leader, I believe. I'm almost 100% on that. But he's just the most decorated. He's won all these titles, and Hungary really is the best country in the world in water polo.
Cool.
I don't know why I'm actually going to Budapest in about 2 to 3 weeks on a break here. I'm going to go to a match there. I'm just going to talk to as many people as I can to just understand more. So I
Very
kind of
cool.
just really enjoy having this card. This is a 2009 Sport Kings. Again, these are
Oh,
not
that's
in.
it's very similar to the one that Justin was showing. So there's an old version of those. It's a very, very old. I think it's a Gaudi card, And down the bottom, like you can see with yours, where you've got them playing water polo, he has a one of Jim Thorpe. Jim Thorpe, is that the guy?
Yep. Yeah.
It's him as a football player, and the silhouettes of the guys down the bottom are all playing football. So it's literally the same type of card down the bottom there. Amazing. That's so cool. So it's obviously a throwback to those very, very old cards. So yeah, in that episode from last week where Justin's talking about his football card collection, it's almost identical to it. It's cool.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't put that together. Um, Very cool. Yeah, this is the second copy graded at SGC. Actually, someone else got a 10, and I had submitted my copy, uh,
Amazing.
and it got a 10 as well. So pretty excited about that. But probably the coolest thing was, and I've told you about this off air, but I came across this signed picture of him. I think it was signed in like maybe the 70s or 80s. I mean, he just looks like a, kind of classic Mediterranean kind of, he's got the sunglasses, like definitely looks 70s. He's standing in front of this board with like all his awards and newspaper clippings, that kind of thing. And on the back, he writes like all his titles, championships, and signs it. And this picture was sent to this guy named Craig Sharegold. If anyone wants to just Google Craig Sharegold, and you'll know, you'll get the story. But he was a British cancer patient who, put out this plea for greeting cards to the world, and ended up getting greeting cards from millions and millions of people. It was just it became this phenomenon. He has the Guinness Book of World Records for this this thing for the most greeting cards received. Madonna, Arnold Schwarzenegger, stars wrote to him.
Yeah.
And I just saw this on UK eBay, and it was like awesome. It was like $5 minimum, £5 minimum bid, and I was the only one. I got it. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it's really cool. Like it's probably the coolest piece of memorabilia I have, or something, outside of
Is there
cards.
any way for that to get authenticated? Would you like send off that? I guess it's a board to PSA. Even just have it in the slab to preserve it. Would be
I
kind of
hadn't even
cool too,
thought
huh?
about it. Yeah, I might do that actually,
Yeah, because
because
that would look kind of cool. Because in
yeah,
that way, at least you're not worried about it getting damaged or, you know, a beer getting spilt on it or.
yeah, those things can happen.
Mhm.
Danger lurks, and I like that idea actually. Just more displayable too. I mean,
That's
just
right.
kind of can handle it and throw it around or whatever. So, good idea. I like that.
Yeah,
So
cool.
yeah, I've picked up. I have another Azevedo like gold out of 15 from this 2012 set. I've also been picking up some stickers from like 1972 Olympics, the teams. I have a 1930s card. It's just really random, but it's fun, kind of being the only one to collect water polo.
I
Uh,
like it, man. Like
yeah,
just not even ultra rare, just like so niche. It's ridiculously niche. You're the guy who collects them. It's
yeah.
very cool.
So I'll start unveiling it more maybe on IG soon, but yeah.
Very
So
cool.
that's about it for me, man. Yeah.
Nice. There's a lot of collecting from both of us, really. Like I've been, as you said, just squirreling away a whole bunch of different cards. But very soon, I'm going to be looking at SGC and I'm going to be looking at PSA and how much it's going to cost to send them abroad and that kind of thing. But I think it's a logical next step for me because I've got enough to send away as a lot and bring them back as a lot would be awesome.
I think that makes sense, man. So what else we got? We got some NBA.
Yeah, let's talk about
We
basketball, man. We love talking
Yeah.
about basketball.
We have a little bet going between we're both in on, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we've both put some money down for Luca to get MVP. I actually looked at the current odds for him to win MVP now. It's 20-1. And I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. Today, they took him off with like 15 minutes to go, like 10 minutes. I don't even know if he played the fourth, did he? Did he even play
I
the
too,
fourth? I don't even think he needed to.
yeah,
They were wiping them. I think they won by like 25 points. It
yeah.
wasn't a close game. And they're on a really long win streak now. They got the buzzer beater against Denver. They have beaten a whole bunch of different teams lately. He's had the longest run of triple doubles in the regular season ever. He's had a 70-point game. He's averaging the most points per game in the season in the league. He's league leader in points per game.
Yeah, and it's like
I
third
think
all
he's
time
he's
or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. He's way up there with the assist per game as well, and obviously probably one of the highest rebounding guys in the NBA too. But there's just no Luka Love out there, man. It's weird. It's weird.
It's still alive, I think.
Wow.
Since we're already in, I
Do you
won't
think
go
I should
20
put
to
money
1.
down for 20-1?
I know.
It feels like
Not
it feel like it's done.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is. I just think, but I mean, now they're sixth. They're one game back the Pelicans. This is recording Wednesday, uh,
Yeah.
10 days before this will air. But you know, if they get to fifth, they could even get to fourth. Not that that matters really, but they, I just think they will move up. If Jokic sits some games, I just think he's battling. You know, it's like the idiocy of last year's MVP.
Hmm.
People are overcompensating because they messed that one up. You know, because Jokic then went on and won the title. Oh, oops, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have given it to Embiid. Obviously, I'm kind of
And now
partisan
they're
on that,
probably
but
watching Joker for the first time on top of that guy. Ah, yeah,
yeah,
he's really good at basketball.
yeah.
Obviously.
Duh. Like, so it's
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's the problem. But yeah, Luca's numbers definitely match previous MVPs or exceed them. So
Exceed them.
yeah,
Exceed many of them. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, that's I think we're definitely gonna have to hope for a bit of a turning of the tide in terms of just public perception of him at the moment, for this year at least.
yeah.
Maybe it's all just setting up for next year, but that'd be a shame for our bet for sure. Who do you have in the NBA finals, man? I think it's almost pretty clear cut.
Yeah, I mean, you have to pick Denver. They did it last year,
Yeah,
and I don't see how you don't pick the Celtics either.
that's right.
So
Yeah, I think you and I are both on the same boat with both of them. I haven't seen what I expected to see from Miami yet. I was thinking that they would be able to kind of turn the corner with Rozier and hopefully, I guess, just look a little bit more dangerous. But they've struggled a bit this year, but they struggled last year too. The only thing is, I think the Porzingis element is something that Miami hasn't come across with Boston before. And Porzingis solves a lot of the problems that Boston had against Miami. So I'm hoping that with him in the mix, we'll be able to outlast them. But at the same time, they look way more cohesive as a team without Smart, and they've traded Smart in for Drew Holiday, and they're giving more responsibility to Derek White. I mean, the team looks great. I just don't think that anybody beats Joker in the final. That's the only thing. So I think we can get to the NBA finals quite easily. Actually, I mean, Giannis had a monster triple double today, and they still couldn't win against the Lakers. And what are we going to do with a team that can't beat the Lakers in the regular season with Giannis getting like a 20? He had a 20 plus rebound game in this one for a triple double. Come on, and they lose. So I don't think Milwaukee's a threat. I think Miami just doesn't seem like they're going to be good enough to beat us this year. Um, I don't think the Knicks are healthy enough to be able to manage. So the Magic are the only team that kind of half frighten me, but they're too young. So yeah, I think the Celtics will make the finals. Unless something pops their way, I think the Nuggets still beat them in the finals. Though.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm just a Celtics skeptic. I just need to,
Yeah, I get
because
it. I totally understand that.
I'm so sick of every year you go into the year, they're like favored to win the title, and then all year everyone talks about how awesome they are. So here we are again, same thing. And I agree the roster's improved. I mean, I totally accept that, drastically actually.
Yeah,
Um, but I just have to see it to believe it this year. When it gets mucked up in a 7 game
that's right.
series, and
Right.
it's Tatum or Brown gonna take the shot, and they just kind of dribble around. They don't have that kind of like team ethic that the Nuggets do. So,
And they,
and I just think Miami has it too. So, that's why
mhm.
they lose. It's not talent. It's
I,
just,
I
so
completely agree with you. It's at the end of the game. It's where the game gets a bit messy. Can a guy make a play down the stretch? And Tatum historically has been terrible at it. I think they need to give the ball to White more down the stretch, man. I really like that guy. He's one of my favorite Celtics that's come around for a while. But I think on top of that, it's not just the players, it's the inexperience of the coach. I think that's why in the offseason they hired a whole bunch of assistant coaches to just kind of talk him through those scenarios. But then at the same time, he's still not calling timeouts at the right time in the game. And you're just like, that's one of the fundamentals of your job. You can't let a guy play through this in the conference finals, mate. Call the timeout, stop the bleeding. And he doesn't do it. So, as good of an offensive coach as Joe Mazzulla is, and I think he's definitely got them thinking on their feet and playing with space and with making the right reads as a team. And the ball movement is really, really pretty for the Celtics. It's when it gets mucky. It's when you get to the playoffs and they're not calling fouls and someone like Jimmy Butler's right in your face and they've got the hands in the passing lane and they're cheating and they're doing those small things to just, you got to be able to find a way to get a basket. And as you say, as a skeptic, as you should be, 9 times out of 10, they don't make the right play. And 9 times out of 10, they panic or they just throw up a really junky shot. So I get it, man. And I'm hoping for a change this year, but it remains to be seen. At the same time, as a Celtics fan, at least my team is making it to the conference finals every year or the NBA finals. So I'm hoping that somehow we can go one step further. And maybe that will be a good piece of our evolution. I'm just not expecting it this year. It's just like they're really great, but Denver just has that championship swagger. And who's going to stop Joker? And who's going to stop Jamal Murray when he gets hot? And then you've got Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. can get hot every now and then. And then you got who's the other one? Not KPJ. It's
KCP.
ACP. He's incredible. And then you got Christian Brown, and you got their new rookie who's playing really well this year too.
Yeah.
They've got really good pieces around the best player in the NBA.
Yeah. I agree. Nothing to disagree with on that. Yeah.
I did put I told you earlier on in the year when they started looking good, I put a $20 bet on the Clippers, but they're not looking the best at the moment. Just they're looking a bit prone to those injuries. You get one injury. These guys are 35 plus, and it's like a house of cards, man, and it's just ready to fall apart. So I think they're limping their way to the playoffs. So they don't look like a major threat, but if they were ready to go, they would probably be one of the few teams that I think could match it with the Nuggets. Maybe not in a 7-game series, but you could expect them to win 1 or 2. I just can't see anybody beating these guys in 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, my pick there is the Mavericks. They've been playing well recently, integrating PJ Washington and
the new
Gafford
blood.
starting it makes them. I mean, he was kind of slow to start, kind of like, where is this guy? But recently, it's really been rolling, and so they're just bigger, and I mean, they just looked big last night against Kings, and Luka is, I think, the second best player in the league, and I'm hoping for a Nuggets Mavs Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, that'd be cool, huh? That would be a lot
Yeah.
of fun. I think with Gafford, I kind of knew that he was better than most people thought of him because he's in my fantasy team. And he was just, the worst game he'd played, get 30 fantasy points. And, now it's 40 points, 50 points. That's pretty consistent with him. And it was like that for the whole season when he was with the Bullets. Wizards. Sorry, they're called the Wizards now, not the Bullets. And it's transferred very well with Dallas. He's this big in the middle who can block shots, and he's quite capable of moving quickly around the court, and he plays well as a rim runner. And Luka was going to find him with a good ball, and he's just scoring close to the basket. Like, I think this year, did he break the record for the most consecutive shots made from the field? It was like 32 different. He made 32 baskets in a row and didn't miss one. because it was just all under the basket. Dunk, layup, dunk, put back. And I think it was 32 buckets in a row that he made. It was nuts. So I think he's got to thank Luca for all of that. But at the same time, he's not a scrub. Like they picked him up, they made their move, and they knew that he was going to be a good piece for them. And I think PJ Washington is going to be he's going to show up in the playoffs for them in the sense that he's going to be able to spread the floor for them, now the three, but also play well on the defensive end too with what they need. So he's a great pickup for them as well.
Agree.
I also think we've talked about these two teams as well, but I just think it's a year too soon for OKC. I was a little bit nervous about them at the start of the year, and you were just like, "What are you talking about, buddy? These guys aren't ready for it yet." And I think you're right. I think they're too young. They're like 22 years old. They haven't played in a slowed down version of basketball for 7 games. They haven't played against the same opponent for 7 games where they get to figure you out. And all of the tricks that Shea might be able to work out in game 1, it's not going to happen in game 2 or game 3. And already the refs are kind of swallowing the whistle. So Shea's ability to draw contact and get the foul calls, it's going to be like it was for Harden 5 or 6 years ago when it gets to the playoffs, and then he's not going to get the same calls and not going to be nearly as effective. So I don't really think OKC will get past the second round. They might win a first round matchup if they get the right one, because the West is really dangerous. But if they get the right matchup, they could get past the first round. But I can't see them getting past any quality team in round 2. To beat them 4 games in a row, it's going to be hard for that young team.
Yeah, I would. As a Kings fan, I would love to play the Thunder in the first round.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be my preferred matchup, and I think
Yeah,
everyone
playoff
wants to play us
experience.
too. So there you go.
Oh,
Uh,
I think I would prefer the Kings to someone like New Orleans, because New Orleans they can muck it up a lot too, and they've got size. And if Zion decides to play basketball, they're going to be a really tough team to beat. And they've been playing well lately. So
yeah, also a
out
team.
of those 2 teams,
Yeah, a team I don't believe in at all.
that's right.
Zion in the playoffs, Ingram. I don't know. McCollum's not that strong. I just
No,
yeah, I don't see it. Minnesota, I would actually like them to get Cat back because they'll be even worse with him. So Minnesota also just does not scare me. So it's just kind
no,
of like
I agree with
you
you.
know,
I love watching Ant play though. He's not even crept into my top 3 or 4 guys to watch. He's so much fun to watch play live. When you just put a game on, he's that captivating as a player. You're like, when's Ant getting back on the court if he's on the bench? So it's he's a fun player to watch play. I really like him, man.
I agree. I mean, I like him for sure. I just don't. I don't think they have it.
Just
And
his team. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right. And it'll be a first time, no, second time in the playoffs for Finch. And I just a lot of people in Minnesota like him as a coach. I just haven't seen him do much with that team. This is the best season they've had for years. But let's see how they go in the playoffs. And I think if they don't make it, they should shop around for a new coach, because he's been coaching that team for a while now.
yeah, yeah. It'd be interesting. I mean, Lakers could also. I mean, I'm not ready to write them off. I think they're like
No,
Miami.
definitely not.
They
No,
they take it off during the regular season, like whatever.
mhm, mhm. They've got the experience. They've got size. And man, I wish that for some reason LeBron wasn't in the team, because I'd like to see more of Reeves. That's why I picked him in my fantasy squad. And when LeBron didn't play today, Reeves scored 72 fantasy points. He got a triple double.
I know.
And it's like he plays the same way as LeBron. At least play them on the court at the same time, because they're really good together. It's the thing is they try and just give LeBron a break and put Reeves on the minutes that LeBron doesn't play, and it just doesn't work out as well. So yeah, I kind of wish that they'd use Reeves a little better at that team.
All right, man. I probably gotta wrap it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, we got to get
Uh,
going. Yeah, we're rambling on a bit, but it was a fun catch up, and let's do it again after a few more episodes, I think. But
sure.
looking forward to meeting some more people as we interview them separately. But if they want to reach out to us, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or contact us on our own personal Instagrams. But It'd be fun to get a few new people from new countries telling us about their card collecting experiences.
Definitely.
All
Definitely.
right, buddy. Yeah,
All right.
perfect. All right, pal.
Yeah, I guess we're done recording, but yeah.